arms. Let's come on hands and knees. And go back into child pose. So I highly recommend you come into class like at least set up 10 minutes before, because I won't be letting you in once the class starts. On the exhalation, just because I'm over here, I'm not there. So you're back into child pose. Inhale, come up into table. Take your knees just a little wider apart and go back into child. So helping with that lower back. You may want to pad those knees. On the inhale, we're going to come back up into table. Do take those knees a little wider apart. And as you exhale and go back, just feel the difference. Some of you might not be able to go back so far because of knee issues, hip issues. Okay, we're all going to come back up once more. Walk the knees back in. So what we're going to do is take that right foot up towards the sky, so the knee's bent, and then I'm going to bring the knee to the nose on the exhale. Pause here, get the breath out. Inhale, you can tip the toes up, so this is a little back bend, basically cow pose. On the exhalation, you're rounding like your cat. We're adding the leg as well. 2 more of these. I might look out as my leg comes up. Bring the knee to the nose, and you got 1 more of those. So by keeping the leg bent going up, you're working your glutes a little bit here. That's where your piriformis is in there. Next time that leg comes down, then we'll do the same thing on the left side. Okay? So I'm going to take the foot up towards the ceiling, knees bent, back is arched a little bit. Exhale, hug the knee in towards the nose. Inhale. I say arch, but this sway might be better. Cat or cow pose. I'm sorry, dog or cow pose. Exhale is definitely the cat pose there. Okay, got 2 more of these. When I take that foot up, I really feel it in the glute. So I might pause just a little bit to get the glute muscles engaged. And then exhale, last one. Okay, from here, we'll put the knee down, take the knees a little wider, and I just want you to shift the hips a little side to side. Again, take padding for the knees. I don't know what kind of surface you're doing your practice on, so you might need a little extra padding. But now, whatever way the hips go, take the head in the opposite direction and push the hip out. Come back through center, basically table. Then I push the hips to one side and take the gaze to the other side. 1 more time. Inhale could be center. Exhale, coming over to the side. Let's do it 1 more. It's feeling good in my hips. Okay, next time you come back to center, let's come standing on the knees. So here, that's where you might need padding as well. Let's just shake out those wrists from being on our table. And then we're going to inhale the arms up, a little bit of shoulders. Exhale, bring the hands and the forehead to the floor. Basically child. But now you got to draw the abs in, bring the arms up, maybe a little back bend here. Exhale, forward fold. Maybe a little ujjayi breath, that back of the throat, that little raspy sound. Really draw your navel in as you come up. Kind of pretty much stays there. Even if I go down, I'm keeping the navel engaged. Pause here in your child pose. And then when you're ready, come back into table and let's come off hands and knees a little bit. So since we had a request for back and piriformis, this might just get into it. So the piriformis is deep down in that glute area. So we're going to take our feet a little wider. We're going to windshield wiper a little side to side. I don't have to put a lot of weight in the back hand or either hand. I could even bring that back arm off and let it float around. Some of you don't have to use any arms. You can just kind of float the arms up as the knees come down. I kind of move off my mat when I do that. It's into the glutes a little bit, but certainly you can still have the hands on the floor. Okay, one more time each side. So we're warming up that piriformis for our stretch. And the next time the legs go to the right side, will you just pause there for a moment? And we've done this before, or at least in class, when we used to be live in class. We're going to just move the pelvis back and forth. So some of these that I'm going to do mostly are going to be for your back. And getting this pelvis moving so it doesn't lock up. I know there's a couple of you mentioned you had some back issues this week. So just pressing the pelvis forward and back. Okay, one more time. Okay. That front leg, your right leg, just move it out just a little bit. It's still going to be at this angle. And then start to walk forward. Right away, I feel it in that right hip a little bit. Maybe if you walk out a little bit more, it might be deeper in the glute muscle, but on your right side, you might feel it. So to me, this is like a baby pigeon pose. Kind of gets the same thing, but I don't have to keep my hips square. I don't have to straighten the back leg, or is your left leg right now. You could always walk over a little bit if you want to add a little side bend over to one side. You can have your block for your forehead if you want. You know, just see, I would keep that foot flexed in front. Okay, that's going to support the knee a little bit. You don't even have to go forward. Maybe this is enough. You just come forward a little bit. Right there is where I feel it, right in the hip, piriformis. The piriformis is not very big, but it can really speak to us at times. Okay, 2 more breaths. Any variation. If you don't feel it, maybe walk the foot out away from you a little bit more. Maybe you'll feel it. Okay, everybody, let's come on up. Swivel the legs to the other side. I try to keep my knee off my foot. I just don't like bone on top of bone. Right there, I might readjust the front foot. First, we're going to do a little pelvic rock back and forth. Free up the sacrum, the whole lower back. Of course, you're all yogis, so you know not to do anything that doesn't work. If this back knee doesn't like to be folded like that, you can rearrange it, take support underneath of it. One more. And then here we go. Do we want to come forward? Maybe wiggle a little side to side, maybe walk over. So explore it. It's your practice. You're going to have to get it in your hip because I can't help you other than give you some suggestions. Now, some of you might not have any tightness back there in the hips, so it might take you a little bit more stretching that foot out a little bit or keeping it flexed, but having the ankle and the knee aligned, that it makes it a little harder when I come forward, that I'll feel it in that glute area. Okay, take your block. Yogi Bear is using my blocks today. You know, sometimes just a little tiny more movement might position that just right where you feel the stretch you need in this moment. We're trying to find that stretch where it's not any pain. It's a good thing. I call it like your stretch point. So you want to get to where your stretch point is. And if you get beyond that, then you can make it a little harder, go down a little further to get more stretch. Okay, ready to back up. And let's swivel those legs just one more time each side. Okay. Feet on the floor, knees are bent. And then what I'd like you to do is cross that right foot leg on top of the left. Now you might want to grab underneath your thigh here just because that might help you stay up a little taller and stronger. And then some of you might be able to pick that foot off the floor. So kind of like upward boat pose, but we have the legs crossed. Some of you can bring the legs maybe even closer towards one another, more like eagle legs. And then some of you might want to release the hands. So I would say if you ask for back, you might just want to hug those knees in because I don't want you to work your back here or your abs. Okay, we'll bring that bottom foot down, uncross, and then let's go to the other side. So left leg on top, this might be my pose. I bring my hands underneath, grab a hold, keep my sternum lifted, chest lifted, gaze nice and steady. If I want a little bit more, I could try, take the foot off the floor. Okay, I wouldn't release the hands probably if you have some back, because as soon as I do that, it's not pain, but I feel like the back muscles are working, the abs are working a little bit more. So you have to go to the place where it works for you right now. Okay, we're going to bring the bottom foot down, release, bound angle, hold on to your toes, your ankles, but let's come forward. Let that head shake out a little bit here, because I'm sure somebody has a request for neck. And come on up. So let's come up to standing. If you happen to have a belt, go ahead and bring a belt. We'll do a few more stretches, and then a lot of you have been to this class before. I call it a therapeutic class, so we just keep it really light and easy, but feel free to make it work for you, wherever your energy level is today. So I'm going to take my feet a little wider than hip bone. You could use an imaginary belt if you don't have one. But we're going to take the belt up above. I could go wider, even bend my elbows. Okay, I'm going to do a little straighter arms. Exhale, come on over to the side, to the right, and push that left hip out, even exaggerate that. Doesn't feel good in the shoulders, I'll just bend the elbows a little bit. Okay, inhale, come on up. You need a little bit more. Walk the hands in towards one another. Push that right hip out to the right and come on over into your side bend. Very similar to triangle. Push into the feet, use the legs. Let's do 2 more times on each side. I'm going to change up my arms every time I do it just to see if I can get a different kind of stretch here. The inhale is when you come up. The exhale is when you go to one side. Okay, last time over towards the left. Don't let me rush you, just go with the own pattern of your breath. Next time you come to center, those arms can come down in front. Okay. We'll go ahead and just take the belt off to the side, walk those feet in, and come off the heels and drop the heels down. 2 more times. You can have a wall or a chair nearby. I usually say in this class, if you want to have a chair, some of you like to do legs on the chair when we come down onto the floor for relaxation. Last time, and bring the heels down. So let's get the foundation in the legs, get the head over the heart and the heart over your hips, arms by your side. Take the arms out to the side and really stretch through your fingertips. Turn the palms up. Let's go back into that mudra. So the thumb and the ring finger, we're looking for bliss here in our practice perhaps, or at least an open mind. So stretching out through the other 2 fingers, 3 fingers that are wide open. And then little by little, no need to rush, take those arms up overhead. You can bend the elbows if you desire. Legs are engaged. Remember where the heart is over the hips, the head's over the heart, mountain pose. So let's stay here a little bit. Feel a little bit in the back. I might take my arms wider, feel it in the shoulders. I might go back into cactus arms. Okay, nice strong legs, everybody. Lift your toes up, find the foundation in your feet. Make sure your ribs aren't jetting out. We're getting into warmer weather, and sometimes that happens. You just throw our ribs out. That's another subject when your vata is out of balance. So we all have vata, pitta, and kapha in our body. Sometimes one's a little out of balance. And then go ahead and release the arms. And that's in the Ayurvedic. And Ayurvedic is the sister of yoga, or the medicine of yoga. Okay. So here I'm just going to kind of lean to one side. So I'm coming off balance, kind of moving around on my feet, maybe coming forward, rolling. So my body's moving, but I'm working my feet a little differently, like shifting the weight from one foot to the other foot, to the front, to the back, just to see, catch myself off balance, then I get back into balance. Okay. And then come back to your center. From the front of your mat, we'll take the right leg back. Here's your warrior one. So readjust the feet so you feel safe and grounded. And we're going to bring the hands onto the front thigh. Now here I'm just going to look forward, keep my shoulders and hips. And I'm looking for a little calf stretch in the back. So I'm really pushing that back heel down. Okay. Pause here. Now, another variation is slide down a little further down that leg, maybe to your shin, maybe to your blocks if you have them, or if you happen to have a chair, don't have to go down so far, your hands can be on the chair. Okay, work the back leg, front leg, and then inhale, come on up. Shift the weight forward so that back leg can come forward, take a breath, and other side. Now, some of you might want a little bit more, so you can go into warrior one. We're just going to take a nice stance here, get rooted, bring the hands on the front thigh. So here, as my hands are on the front thigh, my back's nice and flat, no back bend here. If I would be adding the arms, I would have a little bit more of a back bend. So we'll just hang out, make sure the front toes are relaxed, the back toes are relaxed. And then maybe I need a little bit more, so I might slide down to the shin or hands on the block or the floor, or simply just bring that torso forward a little bit. Because your torso's forward, you got to work that back leg a little bit more, or I'd like you to, because I want both of your legs to feel equal in weight. So you have to work the back leg a little bit more because you got your torso coming forward. Okay, everybody, let's inhale, come on up. Shift the back foot forward. Okay, so feel free to use a wall, even sit in a chair. We did this when you were on the floor, so I'm going to use the wall because I happen to have it. I'm just going to walk out a little bit. If you don't have a wall, but you're holding on to a chair, we're basically going to go in to eagle pose. We did this on the floor. We're going to cross that right leg over the left. That might be it. I could keep the toes on the ground. Still a little weight bearing, take care of the knees here, slide up if you need to. Here we're going to just bring the palms to the heart center. Now I have this wall, so I can press my head, shoulders, even my hips into the wall. For others, if you want to come forward a little bit, it's going to shift the weight. You can take those right toes off the floor if you want, and you can come forward into what we call nested eagle. So the bottom leg is doing most of the work. Take support if you need support. One more breath. And then inhale, come on up. Okay, we'll uncross. Maybe even shake out the legs a little bit. And then I'm going to stack that left leg. So those of you who can, desire, you can put that left foot around your calf. That's our classical eagle pose. So it just comes around, maybe, or I just keep the toes on the ground. We're going to go back into namaste hands. Decide, do I want to just stay on the wall, which takes some weight off of your hips and therefore your knees. It wouldn't be so much pressure on the knees. Others might want to come forward. If you're using the wall, you could even take your hips off the wall if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more. It's all up for interpretation. It's your eagle pose today. Just make sure you feel safe, balanced, and you're using that breath. Okay. So nice and slow, come on up and release. Shake out the legs. Just one more standing pose. I'm going to go to the side so you see it. Well, I'll start with bent knees, but little by little, I'm coming back into table position, but your knees aren't on the floor, right? I just want your hips, your shoulders, and the head to be all in the same alignment, like if you had all fours on the floor, right? Ribs draw in a little bit. You can even let your hands be on your thighs here. Okay, so we're going to be here a little bit. If I don't feel anything in the back of the legs, I might lift my hips up just a little bit, a little stretch in the hamstrings. Those of you with back issues today, I would keep your knees bent. Draw the navel in towards the spine, or even those lower ribs, so they just don't collapse. Then some of us are going to take our hands to the back wall, turn the palms up towards the ceiling. Your nose is pointing down. So hopefully I'm clear enough. You don't have to look at your device. Take your palms a little higher to the ceiling. For those of you who want to straighten the legs a little bit here, you can. Hamstrings. Keep it out the back, so you keep the knees bent, or you draw that navel into the spine, or both. With palms up towards the ceiling, and then bend the knees, sweep the arms out, come up into mountain. We're going to do that one more time. Take a breath. Exhale, come forward. Start off with bent knees. Either bring the hands on the knees so you don't have to work as much, or take those palms up to the sky. Nose is pointing down, back of the neck long. Look at your toes. Mine are coming in a little bit, so I want to make sure the toes are facing forward. Navel in towards the spine. Even more than that, try to get your lower ribs to come up a little bit. Your back should be nice and flat. Okay, we're going to come up, bend the knees. Inhale, come up into mountain. Stay here, engage those legs. And release the arms. Okay. So one more standing, because we'll do something for our neck, is go ahead and drop that right ear over towards your right shoulder. Then take the left hand away from your body just a little bit. See how that feels. And stretch those fingertips away from you. That should give you a little bit more stretch through the neck. Now if I flex the palm, and it stretches all the way up the underside of the arm. Now, only if you need more, you can bring that right hand on top of your head, maybe even more towards that left ear. But you decide how much weight you put on. Now, my legs are still engaged. I don't want to relax them. Going for a neck stretch here. Hand comes up, head comes up, other arm releases. Drop it over, take this in stages. The side of the neck might not need the same thing. Engage those quads. Little by little, just take that right arm out, stretch it out. So if I lift it, I don't feel much, but if I stretch out through the fingertips, I start to feel the stretch in the neck. Maybe flex the palm if I want a little bit more. And another option, hand can come up on top of the head, right on top of that ear. You have control how much weight you put on that ear, that head. Nice full breaths. Go ahead and release the top arm if it went up. Relax both arms and the head. Roll those shoulders up, back, and down. 2 more times. Squeeze it when you get up there, and then release it. And 1 more time. Squeeze and release. Okay, let's come down to a seated posture again. This time, cross-leg position. You could even stuff your blocks or your blanket underneath your knees if you want a little extra support. Bound angle also works. Okay. So a little bit more for shoulders here. First, I want you to start with your rib cage. So just move your rib cage over to the right, bring it back to center, exaggerate it. Just try to bring it over and back and over. Okay. Freeing up the breath, 1 more time each side. Think more not your whole torso. Maybe mine's moving, but I really do feel my rib cage exaggerating a little bit more. When you come back to center, the fingertips out to the side, and start to walk the fingertips back behind you. So I'm not leaning into my hands. I'm staying up on my fingertips and letting my chest lift. This in itself is a back bend. So I don't know if you feel it, but my chest just lifted. So I'm assuming yours did as we walk those hands behind. The shoulders get back there. And then we're once again, drop the right ear over towards the right shoulder. The arms are behind us a little bit now. Come back up and exhale to the other side. Don't lean into the hands or the fingers. Just use them as a little resting place. Bring the head back up and release. Fingertips on your shoulders, and with your elbows, make some large circles. If you need to change up your position here, how you're sitting, or even sit in a chair, I'd rather you do that. Then go ahead and reverse. Good. And release. Okay. We're going to extend those legs out. I've had a few people in class say about their feet. So let's go ahead and engage, really squeeze the toes, okay? And then spread them wide. And it might be because we're changing our shoes up this time of the year. Go ahead and squeeze the toes. So I think I know my demographics, so I think we're pretty much, most of us are over 45, 50. And then spread. And then bring the bottoms of the feet together again, meaning that give your feet a little massage, so you can use your hands, just open up the feet, a little massage, is that I highly recommend, I can't wear any kind of shoes without support anymore. So if you have some feet issue going on, you might want to make sure your sandals and that, now that we're going into the summer season soon, is that you have some support. Okay, nice little squeeze for those feet. Okay, and then extend the legs back out. Bend the knees. Separate them a little bit. Legs are going to go to the right. But this time, we started with this. We're going to keep walking around to the right for a little bit of a twist. Try to lighten up on your fingertips. Don't even come onto your palms. Come up on your fingertips. And just let it be very light. Let your abs hold you up. You can press that left hip forward a little bit and look over that right shoulder. Okay. And exhale, unwind. Pivot the legs. Again, we're not going to use our hands so much here. Going to bring that back hip around. Keep walking around. But staying upright. So I'm not leaning, I'm not rolling. I'm sitting up. Your hands, even that right hand, can hold on to that front thigh if you want it. But I don't want to put a lot of weight in the back here. Take another breath. I hope your belly feels like it's getting a little stretch here. This is one of the most safest twists you can do. So I wanted to pick this one out today. Keep our backs nice and supple, but not a deep, deep twist like some of them are. Exhale, unwind. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead, if you have a blanket, if not even a towel will do it, but in some form of shape of this. Fold that in half so it makes it nice and long. And then, if you'll see here, you can do this on the floor, but I'm just showing you. I'm fan folding these back. Okay. So I got this nice little roll here. Fringe, if you have a yoga blanket, it goes towards your head. If you have blocks, just have them around just in case you need them. So most of you know this, you have an option, sit on it or sit off of it. So if you have some back stuff, you might want to sit on it because we're going to work a little bit more shoulders here. Okay. So please be mindful, just pretend I'm watching you. You're going to bend your knees, use your abs as you come down, nice and slow, even use your forearms. Now there's probably enough blanket back there that you could make a little nice roll for your neck, okay? And then rearrange. Do I have to scoot my butt away from there a little bit? And then I'd like to have your palms up. Let's keep our knees bent right now. Let the knees touch, but take your feet a little wider. Okay, I'm doing this for all of our backs, just so the back can rest. If for some reason you feel this and you're not sitting on the blanket, come out, sit on the blanket, it will feel better. Let's just sweep that right arm overhead on the in-breath. Take it back as far as it can, and then on the exhalation, bring that arm down. I'm going to do that much on the other side. Might not even touch the surface behind us. And then bring that down. Okay. Let's take both arms out and up, overhead, and elbows can be bent, and let's see how that feels. My back arches here. Just does. The arms are overhead. That's a back bend. So change up the arms if you need to. And then here, because I'm going to let you hang out for maybe 2 minutes, you're welcome to extend the legs or keep them bent. Even cross legs can work. You can go back into that mudra where your index finger and thumb are together. Now that chest is lifted. If you gaze down, you probably could see your chest. I really like you to bring the breath into the chest and exhale. 2 more times, nice big breath in. I'm coming out of the pose, but I'd like you to stay in it. And then exhale. And that can be through the mouth or the nose. 1 more time. You can change up the arms or legs. And then you'll be here just another minute, if you would. Rearrange, come out if you're not comfortable. This is the other half of the prayer I started with this morning. Oh, great Spirit, we pray for ourselves in order that we may heal and be healed. We pray for our closest friends who might be sick and need help. Oh, great Spirit, we pray for this world so that all the atomic weapons and all the bad things that are pointing at each other will someday soon all be destroyed. We pray that our adversaries will communicate and that all of the mistrust will be healed. Oh, great Spirit, we pray for the environment. We pray for its cleansing and the renewal of Mother Earth. And those cleansing breaths by taking breath in and exhaling the breath out. You could even breathe in love, breathe out love. Okay. Let the arms come a little closer to your side body. Bend the knees if they're not. Pause here for a moment. And then we're going to very slowly roll to one side. Come all the way up to sitting. Okay. And I'm going to have you take the same blanket or whatever you might have and see if you can double it up so it's a little higher. It's going to come underneath your knees once again. I'm watching you, how you get down onto the floor. So use your hands, use your forearms, use your abs as you come down. And then once you get back there, if you need a blanket for your head or a pillow, you can. Go ahead and extend the legs over that blanket and just see how that feels. If it's not enough support, you might want to bend your knees and keep the knees bent, feet on the blanket. So however, straight legs are bent. Let's bring just the right knee in towards the chest. Your hands are going to grab either behind it or around the shin. I should have told you to have your belt handy. Hopefully it's close by. So hugging that right leg in. Then back off a little bit and take the right leg. Your hands can still be on there. But take your right leg a little to the left and see if you can. It doesn't have to come in as much as it goes to the left, but my hip's still down. I might get a nice stretch, maybe in the piriformis, the IT band on the outside of the leg. Okay, bring it back and then grab your handy dandy belt. If you don't have one, just go ahead and extend the leg up towards the sky. You can always hold the back of the leg if you're not using a belt. Okay, so hold that belt for a little bit. Let's let the back of the hamstring stretch here. Your left leg can be straight or bent. Take the belt into your left hand. Okay, let's take some time here. So bring the leg towards your head and just maybe 2 inches over to the left. Keep the right hip down. Take a breath. Push out through the heel. If you're already feeling a stretch, you probably don't have to do much more. If you need a little bit more, that right leg's going to come over to the left a little bit more. You're guiding it. And again, if you don't have a belt, you can use the back of your hands to guide it over. If the hamstrings are really intense, tight, you might want to bend the knee a little bit. We're going to hang out here a little bit. Keep that right hip down. Bring the leg towards the left shoulder a little bit. It's not a twist. We're trying to get into the piriformis, hamstring here, IT band maybe. Keep the foot flexed. Just by doing that, you activate different muscles than relaxing the foot. Relax. But still feel something here. Come to your stretch point. Then back off. Take the belt into your right hand only, where your hands can still be behind. And take that right leg out to the right, but just a little bit at first. You may want to put the left hand on your thigh or your hip bone to make sure it doesn't pop up. You can bend that right leg if you want to. I have a wall here, so I'm not going to go that far. You can take the leg, drop it down a little further, and observe. This is a little different than crossing the leg, right? Now your adductor and still your hamstring, you can take that leg further towards your right shoulder. Find your stretch point, stay there. And if you are using a belt, make sure you're not gripping the belt so much, so relax your hand. Inhale, we're going to come on up. And then use the belt to lower the leg down, and then you're going to pick that right leg back up again. Hamstring stretch, lower it down by pressing out through the heel, working the quad, and then lifting it back up. If you feel this in the lower back, I would keep that left knee bent. Okay, let's just do one more of those. Don't cheat yourself out of the hamstring stretch when you come up. Feel the quad working as you press the foot down. Let the right leg stay down. Take the left leg if it's not. You're going to slide that left foot into your loop or your belt, or however you want to bring that left leg up. But first feel that right leg, all the work you did on that side. Okay, everybody? So let's hang out. Once you get the left leg up, either holding it with your hands, using a belt, get all 5 toes to come down towards your nose, get your shoulders and your head relaxed. Right leg straight or bent, yogi's choice. Bend the knee a little bit if you need to, or just try that. Bend the knee. Do I still get a stretch? Maybe I bring the leg towards my head a little bit more. And then I'm going to just let the right hand hold on to the belt. Left arm can relax. Little by little, we're taking that left leg an inch or 2 towards the right, maybe not even that much. Do you feel it running down the outside of the leg or into the glute? Keep the foot flexed. Next exhalation, maybe you want to bring it over a little bit more. We have a little time to visit here to make sure the hip stays down on that left side. Relax the right hand. You can even shoot the left arm out to the side or even overhead. It makes it a little bit more challenging. Different kind of stretch there. Okay, ready to come back to center. Use the left hand to hold on to your leg or the belt. I'd like you to take it in stages. Just take that left leg over a couple inches out to the side. Take a breath. Keep the right hip down. Maybe the next exhalation, it drops down just a little bit more. You still have control. The belt's helping you a little bit. Stay for another 2 breaths. Maybe bring the leg a little closer towards your shoulder. Right hip stays down. The rest of the body's relaxed. It's really that left leg that's doing all the work. Bring the leg back up nice and slow. And about 3 times here, using the belt or not, extending the leg down, using the belt to help it back up. Pressing out through the heel as you go down. Inhale as you come up. And the next time you come down, the leg can relax. You can kick that belt off and feel your legs. Let's bend the knees, everybody. So it's fine that the feet rest onto your blanket. And we're going to go back into the piriformis. Some of you might want to use a belt or need a belt here. We're going to cross the right ankle over the left thigh, keep the foot flexed. Now, where you might want a belt, I just like putting it behind that left thigh. And then I can bring the left foot off the floor. Others will just want to thread the hands through. But I happen to have the belt, so I'll use the belt to really help that thigh come in towards me. Keep the right foot flexed. Some of you like to extend the left leg. You're welcome to do that. Explore your breath here. Explore where your stretch point is. Where is that stretch point? If you don't feel it, you're not there, so you can hug that knee in a little bit further. Okay, relax the neck and shoulders, please. Maybe a little pause up at the top of the inhale. And the exhale can come out through the nose or the mouth. We've got 2 more breaths on this side. Lower back should be very happy here. It's nice and connected onto your mat. Okay, so we can bring that left foot down, uncross. If you're using the belt, just slide it out. Might slide it underneath the right thigh now to get ready for the other side. Okay, left over the right. Let's go into that piriformis. Pick the foot off the floor. Do keep the left foot flexed. You could nudge the left knee away from you a little bit. I can do that with my forearm. If you're using the belt or your hands, if you don't feel your stretch point, hug that right leg in a little bit closer towards you. You'll feel it. But do try to keep your hands relaxed if you're using the belt. Okay, we have time to explore. So bring the awareness probably into your hip, but also into the breath. Once you stop feeling that stretch, it's your job to hug the thigh in a little bit more to keep that stretch point. Because I'm hoping it lightens up a little bit, and then you can go a little deeper. Gaze nice and soft, jaw relaxed. Lower back happy here. And then go ahead and release the right leg. Get rid of the hands, the belt, and release the left leg. Let's keep our knees bent, feet on that blanket is fine, and rock your hips a little side to side, or your legs. I take my feet a little wider. I don't want them to collide. And this, I would say, this twist, like the one we did sitting, is doable for most people back because you have control how much you let those legs go down. Now, for the last two, let's turn the head in the opposite direction of the knees. But let's feel the back of the head along your mat, coming back to center. I'd like you to slow down. You feel more when we slow, right? And we can coordinate the breath with the movement. We got one more time each side because we're going nice and slow. Doesn't matter how far the knees go down. Last time. And then the next time the knees and head come back to center, go ahead and extend the legs over that roll, if that works for you. Let's strengthen the mid-back. So let's take our hands behind our head. Okay. Now, if you need your knees bent here, by all means, bend your knees, readjust yourself on your mat. But my hands are behind my head. This is to strengthen your mid-back. We did a little bit for our lower backs, stretching, strengthening. So we're going to go ahead and press the shoulders down into your mat. So when you do that, do you see your chest lift up a little bit? So there's a little contraction there, just 5-10 seconds at the most. And then we'll release. Okay. Press the shoulders down. You can even press your elbows down, your arms down. Get that chest to lift. You'll feel it probably mid-back, but then I notice my lower back comes off the floor. So there's a little contraction there as well. Not holding very long, and then we release. Okay. Relax the arms to your side body once again. Bring just the right leg in. You're going to bend it, but half happy baby pose here. So I'm either just going to hold the back of the thigh, the knees bent, or I'm going to bring the arm on the inside and grab the bottom of that right foot. So left hand could stay on your hip on the left side so it stays down. Now, if I can't grab the foot, I grab the ankle again. I could grab the back of the leg or use your belt. Actually works nicely around the foot. Okay, now try to keep that right shoulder down. A little bit more for hips. It's going to ground the lower back because it's nice and connected to your mat. Keep all 5 toes coming down towards your knees. I'm using my thumb actually to help some of the little toe to come down a little bit more. Another breath. And then you can release the hand. You can extend the leg lower. Before you go to the other side, just feel. I feel it all in the groin area, hips. Okay, half happy baby pose on the other side. Whatever you can get. And I would suggest, since we had belts out today, use that belt around the foot because you can still use your arms to get that thigh to come down towards the floor. It just grazes your rib cage there a little bit. The foot is flexed. Any variation where you get a nice hold there. Do look and try to get your ankle and your knee in the same alignment. So I don't want my foot like down facing away from me. The foot's straight up towards the sky. And if my ankle can get right over my knee, then I'm in this happy half baby pose. One more breath. And then release the hand, the belt, whatever's there. Extend the leg. Feel that side. It's amazing. We weren't even there a minute. Feet back on the roll. And very light bridge pose to strengthen the lower back. So your feet can be on the roll. That's okay. Arms by your side. Press your palms down. Lift your hips up just a little bit. Okay, lift your hips up a little bit more. You can press into your arms a little bit. Do not turn your head here, okay? So I'll articulate as best as I can so you don't have to turn your head unless your device is up on the ceiling. Let's lift the hips a little bit more, maybe press down into the arms. My glutes are working a little bit here, so you might even want to relax those now that I think about it so you don't tighten up too much or aggravate that piriformis. So let the glutes, just try that. Press down in through the feet, even though it's on a blanket. Lift up through your hips, but try to relax your glutes here, your buttocks. Press down into your hands, maybe lift your chest up a little bit more. One more breath. And then take a good long exhalation to come down. You can relax the arms. Sacrum comes onto the floor. Once that happens, take your time. Both knees come in towards the chest, one hand on each knee. Hug those knees in. Now move the knees just an inch or two away. Separate the knees a little bit. Hug the knees in as much as you can. You can even take the hands behind the knees. Move the knees away just an inch or two. Hands still stay there. Take the knees just a little wider and hug them on in. Pause here. Keep the thighs in. Hands are doing the work. Lower back stretching. And then you can release the feet back onto the roll. And then extend the legs if that's comfortable. And then I'm going to give you a minute here, be it on your back or if you're going to sit, but see if there's any other pose you want to do before you go into relaxation. Okay? So I came out of my pose, but you just set yourself up. Maybe it's a full happy baby pose. You want to take both of those legs and go into happy baby pose. Maybe simply hugging the knees in towards the chest. That might help a little bit more for the lower back. And what I could recommend, just have it around if you need it, but maybe you want to do legs on the chair because that would be restful for your lower back. It just is. If you're out gardening, come in, just put your legs on the chair or even on the couch. You want to have the legs at 90 degrees. That can help with all kinds of things, your hips, your back, your neck, your shoulders. But you have to stay there for a good 5-10 minutes. Okay, so make sure you feel complete. And then I'm going to invite you to go into Shavasana. And as you go into Shavasana, here's a reading from Amma. In you, Amma sees a mother, a Buddha, a Krishna, or a Christ, hidden in each of you. Divine light can dawn within you at any moment. It simply waits for the right time. So perhaps let the divine light around you just kind of embrace you, all this prana energy that you manifest in your yoga practice. Option for a mudra is index finger and thumb together here. Other fingers extend out. Mudra for preparing the body for meditation, but it also helps with the nervous system. Helps with insomnia. There's like 15 benefits of simply bringing that index finger and thumb together. So rearrange if you're not completely relaxed. We have about 5 minutes here in Shavasana. Once again, if you'll let the inhalation come in and pause up at the top of the inhalation. And let all that breath out, however it wants to fall out. One more time, taking breath in, pausing up at the top of the very top of the inhalation, and then exhaling out. Now feel free, if you need a little bit more time here, is just to stay. For those of you who are ready to transition nice and slow to a comfortable seated posture. For those of you who might need to stay here longer, you might tune us out if you like. So wherever you are, if you want to bring your palms together at the heart center. We could offer our own today out to those first responders taking care of us. So taking breath in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste, everyone. Have a blessed weekend. Take care of yourselves. So if you want to stay on, feel free to do so. If you have any questions about the practice, but I understand if you want to just stay in this space and tune out. There's class on Monday, so hopefully I'll see some of you then. If you have a question about the mudra, let me know. It's actually ring, finger, and thumb, or any of the pranayama. But I would highly recommend, like, at least before you go to bed at night, when you wake up in the morning, spend a little time really expanding your lungs, especially with everything's going on and especially with allergy seasons and that. Get those lungs to really work for us. Okay, so feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions about the practice. And I see there's a chat. I have to get there. I'm not sure how.
Thank you, Gloria.
You're welcome. Thank you, Gloria.
Great.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Hey, Deb, have a blessed weekend.
You too.
Thank you, Gloria. Have a wonderful weekend. Bless.
Good. Oh, I'm glad you made it, Lynn. I'm glad you could get in.
The internet came back.
All right.
Just in time. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Joanne Williams, for coming.
Thank you, Gloria. It's Robin.
Oh, wow, Robin. Thank you. And I'm going to call Christine after this.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend.
I will. You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Let me know
Thank you, Gloria.
Welcome. I'm looking at
Thank you, Gloria.
You're welcome, welcome, welcome.
Good session.
Good, good. See you next Friday is chair day, so next Friday.
Thank you, and goodbye.
Beth, I'm glad you made it twice. That's great.
I did a little improvising, but
That's improvising.
Feeling better than when I started, so that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's what I hope for everybody. So good. And Sharon and Sandy made it on, the regular Friday people, and Beth and Gloria. Sweet. Okay. Bernie, is that Bernadette?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You took
It took a while to get on this time, so
I know
something changed.
Yeah, it did, and someone else had a problem. They had to go out and come back in, and then some people's been having trouble with their internet, so maybe I'm having trouble with my internet, and maybe because even yesterday or the first class, I kept admitting somebody to come on, and they couldn't get in. So, yeah, not sure how
That's good. Good session. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Next time.
Yeah, next time. Take care, everybody. So I guess and
Thanks, Gloria. Can you hear me?
I can, Susan.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a
See you next Friday for sure for chair yoga.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take care, everybody.
Okay. Thank you. Take care.
Bye. I forgot to end the recording, so.